Hey there, Detroit sports fanatics. I'm Taylor Phillips, and welcome to Taylor's Detroit Sports episode 88 on Spreaker and on iHeartRadio. Lots to get to tonight. We'll recap. We'll go back and recap the Red Wings and Rangers. Talk about Jonas Gustafsson's shoulder injury. We'll talk about Peter Mrazek's call-up. Also get to some Pistons talk, recapping the Pistons-Knicks game. You can call it at 231-429-3668. That's 231-429-3668. We'll also get to some Michigan State injury news and more matchup analysis between the Spartans and the Ohio State Buckeyes at Spartan Stadium in East Lansing Saturday night. We'll get to a bit of Tigers news as well. First off, I gotta share these links on Facebook and Twitter and Google and other social media sites. Google's the last. Actually, LinkedIn should be the last. Let me see here. Just bear with me for a minute here. Promise I'll make this quick. All right. All right, we're set to go. So the Red Wings broke Henrik Lundqvist's shutout streak, but still lost in overtime 4-3, despite getting at least a point. Cleary contributes in season debut. From New York, written by Bill Roos, managing editor of DetroitRedWings.com. 2.5 years. That's how long it had been since the Red Wings last scored a goal on New York Rangers goalie Henrik Lundqvist. The unlikeliest of wings, defenseman Jakob Kindl and forward Daniel Cleary put a dent in King Henrik's armor, helping Detroit rebound from a 2-0 deficit and a 3-2 deficit to force overtime Wednesday. But in the end, the Red Wings were sent home from Madison Square Garden with a disappointing 4-3 loss in overtime. It was the Wings' third straight overall loss, which Bill Bruce calls it difficult. First he calls it disappointing, and then in the next statement he mentions a difficult loss. It's almost like he's saying something like twice, saying the same statement, the same thing in two statements in a row, two consecutive statements. But it's the Wings' third straight overall loss anyway, finishing their 3-game road trip at 1-0-2. Actually, it's 0-1-2. They didn't win any of their 3 games, Bill, you idiot. That's another typo. In recent years, Lundqvist had been impenetrable for Detroit skaters, shutting out the Red Wings in 2 starts last season, and through the first half of Wednesday's game, extending his personal shutout streak to 211 minutes and 8 seconds. Lundqvist's shutout stretch against the Wings began after Henrik Zetterberg's first period goal on March 21st, 2012, but trailing 2-0, the Wings finally saw Lundqvist, not once but twice in the latter half of the second period, when Kindle and Cleary ended their own scoring droughts 13 seconds apart. Kindle first scored on the power play, a rare power play goal for Jakob Kindle, a defenseman who usually doesn't produce much points. Cohen passed Henrik Lundqvist to put the Wings on the board 2-1, making it 2-1 Rangers. And then 13 seconds later, making his season debut, as I mentioned before, Cleary's time goal at 12:18 of the second period was his second career goal against Lundqvist. His first since he scored the game winner on December 6, 2009. Cleary's goal wasn't immediately recognized by the referees as play continued after the puck bounced out of the back of the net. But at the next whistle, the play was reviewed in Toronto, where it was deemed a goal, Cleary's first since January 11th at Los Angeles. Cleary knew all along that he scored. It's been a difficult start to the season for Cleary, a 17-season veteran who has a healthy scratch in the first 12 games. Cleary and Andre Nestershil replaced forwards Thomas Yurko and Joachim Anderson, who are healthy scratches from the lineup. This article never even mentioned the high stick on Danny DeKaiser by that Hagelin guy. He didn't get the guy's first name, but it was a vicious high stick to the face, and DeKaiser was bleeding on the ice, and the referees didn't make the call, and the rule says it's unreviewable if the officials miss it. This is a bit of a problem, but it was away from the puck. The referees had to whistle it down when the Red Wings had the puck. It's just unfortunate. It's just unfortunate and stupid that the referees are doing a poor job making non-calls and calls and disallowing goals and making stupid penalty calls against the Red Wings. But they don't hate the Red Wings. It's just that those non-calls and dumb penalty calls and disallowed goals go against the Red Wings. Like with incredible stupidity. So incredible that the NHL referees need to be fired. And I love Gary Bettman too, but some of his rules, or at least one of them, one of his unreviewable rules, sounds completely false. Like such missed penalties, like vicious high sticks and vicious checks from behind, and vicious sucker punches and whatever. I mean, a lot of people were, a lot of fans and tons of hockey media were speculating on a coach's challenge in the near future in the National Hockey League. Possibilities are, if it were to start, it would start next year. Darren Elliott said there should not be a hockey analyst for Fox Sports Detroit said there should not be a coach's challenge. There should only be a referee's conferral. How can the referees confer that, Darren Elliott, you moron? Hey everyone, I want to hear from you guys about this high sticking thing. 231-429-3668 is the number to call. 231-429-3668. Derek Brassard scored the overtime goal on a juicy rebound given up by Jonas Gustafsson, who in the process injured his shoulder. And will reportedly be out for a few weeks, according to head coach Mike Babcock. He injured his shoulder, did Gustafsson, while diving to reach a loose puck, but Derek Brassard tapped it in time before Gustafsson would even touch the puck again. He wasn't doing too great in that game. He gave up 3 goals in regulation and the 4th in overtime. And so So at least some Red Wing fan, the smarter Red Wing fans would think that this injury would actually be an advantage for Peter Mrazek. They want to see Peter Mrazek flash his glove and pads and blocker on the ice in between the pipes in goal for the Wing Wheelers. Because he was just called up after Jonas Gustafsson, the monster, got injured in the shoulder. It was his left shoulder, not his right, his left shoulder. The goal came in at 1 minute 50 seconds of overtime. Mrazek at age 22 has appeared in 11 career NHL games since 2012-2013, sporting a .350 record, a 1.80 goals against average, a 92.6 save percentage, a 0.926 save percentage, and 2 shutouts. The Ostrava, Czech Republic native was one of the top goaltenders in the AHL during the 2013-2014 campaign, ranking second in the league with a .210 goals against average and a third with a 0.924 save percentage, and was named to the AHL's second All-Star team. As a first-year pro last season, Mrazek helped the Griffins that was 2012-2013. But this article Peter Mrazek recalled from Grand Rapids on DetroitRedWings.com was written by Kyle Kujawa. So there are 2 inaccurate writers. Two terrible and inaccurate writers on DetroitRedWings.com, Bill Roos and Kyle Kujawa. But in the 2012-13 season, Peter Mrazek helped the Griffins to win their first ever Calder Cup championship, posting a 15-9 record with a 2.31 goals against average and 4 shutouts in the postseason. In 78 career appearances for the Griffins for Grand Rapids, Mrazek is 46-27-3 with a 2.30 goals against average and a .916 save percentage and 4 shutouts. He was originally drafted by Detroit in the 5th round, 141st overall of the 2010 NHL of the 2010 NHL entry draft, and he played 3 seasons for the OHL's Ottawa 67 from 2009-2012 prior to turning professional, owning a 75-37 and 10 record, a 2.87 goals against average, a 0.916 save percentage, and 10 shutouts. He also represented his country at the 2012 World Junior Championship in Calgary and Edmonton, Alberta, leading the team to a bronze medal and being honored as the tournament's top goaltender after recording a 2.49 goals against average and 0.28 save percentage in 6 games. Lots of career stats there. All youth, though. But I think we all think Mrazek is ready to be a backup goaltender in the NHL. It's his time to shine. He's the future of Red Wings goaltending. Red Wings host the New Jersey Devils this Friday night at 7:30 on Fox Sports Detroit at Joe Louis Arena. You can also listen to it on the radio on 97.1 The Ticket in Southfield and the Detroit Red Wings radio network affiliates. Now to the Pistons beating the Knicks 98-95 at the Palace of Auburn Hills. Greg Monroe led the Auburn Hills crew with a double-double of 23 points and 18 rebounds. Contavious Caldwell-Pope shot 26% overall and 2 of 16 from the three-point line in the season's first 3 games. Likely a byproduct of the 2 weeks he was sidelined with a preseason knee injury. He resembled the player Stan Van Gundy. Caldwell-Pope finished with 20 points, making four of 7 3-pointers, and hit a big shot with the Knicks rallying late. Josh Smith played great defense against Carmelo Anthony and held him to 13 points on 5 of 21 shooting. Smith, however, offensively shot only 2 of 17. He hit a 3-pointer, though, when he got caught with a short shot clock. And Andre Drummond went 3 for 10. Head coach Stan Van Gundy said the Pistons missed a lot of layups and a lot of shots right around the basket, quote unquote, and he wasn't happy about that. But that was the first win for the Pistons of the 2000. That was the Pistons' first win of their 2014-2015 NBA regular season. They play the Milwaukee Bucks tomorrow at Friday night at 7:30 on Fox Sports Detroit Plus. Check cable/satellite listings on DirecTV and Dish Network and Xfinity on Comcast and AT&T Uverse. Whatever cable satellite provider you got. The Pistons are now 1-3 now instead of 0 for 4. If you have any opinions, you can call in at 231-429-3668. Again, that's 231-429-3668. Turn the music down. I apologize for that. We have a positive injury report. Well, first let's get to the Lions. All 3 tight ends, Eric Ebron, Brandon Pettigrew and Joseph Fauria returned to practice. Fauria returned to practice this past Wednesday, and then Eric Ebron and Brandon Pettigrew this Thursday returned to practice as well. Fauria was returning from a sprained ankle. He sprained his ankles in week 3 against the Green in the 19-7 win at Ford Field over the Green Bay Packers. And then Eric Ebron suffered soreness in his hamstring, and Brandon Pettigrew fractured his foot. But they returned earlier today to practice to join Joseph Fauria and the ranks of the returnees, including wide receiver Calvin Johnson, running back Reggie Bush, draft pick defensive end Kyle Van Noy, and linebacker LaAdrian Waddle. The Lions will work with plenty more offense as they get ready to take on Ryan Tannehill and the Miami Dolphins, and Reggie Bush's former teammates, the Miami Dolphins. This upcoming Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on your local CBS television affiliate. The Dolphins have won 3 straight and therefore have improved to 4-3. The Lions are 6-2. They've won 3 straight since their devastating 17-14 loss to Jim Schwartz and the Buffalo Bills at Ford Field. Kyle Orton as well. An article says that the Lions were wary of Ryan Tannehill's ability to make big plays with his feet on zone reads. This one written by Justin Rogers on NLive.com. Tannehill has a new weapon in his arsenal this season, his first playing under offensive coordinator Bill Lazor. The former Philadelphia Eagles quarterback coach has Tannehill running the zone read option. It's a logical fit for the athletic Tannehill, who faces the Lions on Sunday. A wide receiver his first 2 years at Texas A&M, he caught over 100 passes for the Aggies. Coming out of college, he ran his 40-yard dash in 4.58 seconds, just 0.03 of a second slower than Seattle's Russell Wilson. In the past 4 games, the Dolphins have been racking up big yards on zone read runs. Tannehill has nearly 200 yards rushing during the stretch and at least 1 carry of 20 or more yards in each of the contests. Lions head coach Jim Caldwell said, quote, "It's tough, it's difficult to stop. They do a number of different things, not quite exposing him all the time to the effects of a defender that's unblocked. But schematically, they do some pretty unique things with him. And he's talented enough once he gets a little open space to get out there and run and cover ground. He can really run, and they also protect himself as well. He gets down when he's supposed to get down, and he gets out of bounds when he's supposed to get out of bounds, these kinds of things," unquote. Running it exclusively out of shotgun, Tannehill puts the ball into the belly of his running back and reads the defensive end. If the edge rusher collapses down on the back, the quarterback pulls the ball back and loops around the edge the defender has abandoned. If the defensive end sets the edge and doesn't overcommit on the handoff, the quarterback leaves the ball with his back. Lions defensive end George Johnson said, quote, "We're the first line and the linebackers are the second line. As long as we do our job up front, we shouldn't have to rely on our linebackers." Unquote. If George Johnson or another defensive end gives Tannehill an opening, the outside linebacker can't overcommit as well. This opens up a massive lane like it did against the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field when the quarterback, Ryan Tannehill of the Dolphins, ripped off a season-long 40-yard gain. I'm going to tweet this article here. The Dolphins also like to run a version of the play with the tight end lined up in the backfield as an H-back coming across the formation as a lead blocker. Still on these calls, the defensive end is left unblocked, and it's Tannehill's job to make the initial read. Detroit safety Glover Quinn hopes he isn't the one tackling Tannehill on Sunday because it would mean there have been multiple breakdowns up front. Quinn said, quote, "I'm normally 10 to 15 yards deep. If I'm making tackles in the run game, they've got 12 yards already," unquote. That's first down, 10 or more yards. Other opponents have brought a safety into the box with varying degrees of success. The only time Tannehill has been dropped in the backfield on a zone read was against Buffalo when Bills free safety Denoris Sarcy didn't bite on the play fake. Jacksonville's Jonathan Cyprin had mixed success. On one play, he stopped Tannehill for a short gain. On another, the quarterback flashed his speed, catching the young safety flat-footed and getting to the sideline for a 30-yard pickup. Glover Quinn of the Lions, safety, also warns committing the free safety to run pre-snap exposes the defense in other areas. Quinn said, quote, "You get in dangerous situations when you start taking your free safety, your middle guy, the last line of defense, and force him to be in the run front, because then you're leaving the middle of the field open for play action, deep shots, or if a running back breaks a tackle, there's no one there to slow him up or bring him down," unquote. What makes the Dolphins' zone read so difficult to stop is the team's balanced offense, where Tannehill remains a pass-first quarterback, completing a 63.3% of his throws this season. Running the ball is simply a change of pace. As with all defensive assignments, bottling up Tannehill's running ability will boil down to execution. Whether it's the defensive ends, outside linebackers, or safeties, Detroit simply can't let the quarterback get free in space. Linebacker Ashley Palmer said, quote, "We have certain guys on certain positions, and all you have to do is do your job. Everything else will take care of itself." less than 10 minutes to go. Going to college football, the Michigan State Spartans get outside linebacker Mylan Hicks back in practice earlier this past Thursday. Linebackers coach Mike Trout said he's hopeful Hicks can play against Ohio State on Saturday night. Hicks, a 5'11", 197-pound fifth-year senior from Detroit's Renaissance High School, suffered a broken bone in his arm in the Spartans' 27-22 win over the Nebraska Cornhuskers at Spartan Stadium on October 4th and has been sidelined ever since. Both the Spartans and Buckeyes are 7-1 overall and 4-0 in Big Ten play, and they face each other at 8 p.m. on your local ABC television affiliate. Ohio State is ranked number 13. The Spartans are back to being ranked number 8th, being ranked 8th in the nation. And they were 7 earlier this week. They were 7th earlier this week. Up to the day rankings, huh? I guess so. Hicks, who started the Oregon game this season, converted from safety to outside linebacker during the 2013 season, and he had 12 tackles and 2 pass breakups in the 5 games he appeared this season. 5 reasons MSU will beat OSU, and 5 reasons the Spartans will lose. Let's go with the good stuff first. The 5 reasons Michigan State will win. Number 1, the MSU defense. Spartans lead the Big Ten with 28 sacks, and they will likely add to that total on Ohio State quarterback J.T. Barrett. The Buckeyes have 4 new starters on their offensive line this season. MSU will get to Barrett, if not physically, then mentally, creating turnovers and unfavorable down and distance. Number 2, home field advantage. The Spartans have won 12 straight at home, and its coaches and players have been aggressively asking for their fans to show up and stay through fourth quarters to lend their support. Crowd noise can complicate a team's ability to communicate on offense. And according to Spartans line coach Mark Staten, MSU gets an emotional lift from their home fans. Number 3, Connor Cook is familiar with the Ohio State defensive scheme. The Buckeyes changed up their defense from a season ago, switching to a pressing scheme that has led to a Big Ten best 14 interceptions this season. The bad news for Ohio State is that Connor Cook for Michigan State has been operating against a very similar scheme in scrimmages over the past 3 years, and so is Cook's receiving corps. Number 4, run game hitting stride. Michigan State is coming off its most complete offensive line and blocking effort of the season against Michigan, and the Spartans have had a week to rest. MSU ran its offense out of a 2-back set primarily for the first time this season, and the result was a tailback, Jeremy Langford, having a career day. Depending on the weather, the Spartans might look to ground and pound once again. Number 5, last but not least, head coach Mark D'Antonio. The Spartans coach has been personified as gruff and ornery on the sideline, and his chip on the shoulder motivational techniques put him under the microscope, but no one in the Big Ten has figured out how to beat him since the 2012 season. D'Antonio has a coaching staff and players who believe in him, and on the field results are changing the culture of Michigan State football. Now, the 5 reasons Michigan State will lose, you can also text in at 231-429-3668, or you can call in by the same number, 231-429-3668. Reason number 1 that the Spartans will lose, field position. Ohio State ranks number 1 in the nation in average starting field position, its own 40-yard line. Number 1 in the country in opponent's average starting field position, the 24-yard line, and obviously it's best in the differential, 16 yards. Simple math, the Buckeyes are playing on a shorter field. Number 2, a revenge factor. Ohio State thought Michigan State would be a pretty good challenge heading into last year's Big Ten title game. This year they know it. The Buckeyes' off-season conditioning program had references to being prepared to face the Spartans this season, and the OSU players were amping themselves up for Michigan State before they had to remove their pads from last Saturday's 55-14 win over Illinois. The weather. That's an excuse. Except Connor Cook of Michigan State has thrown at least 1 interception in 3 or 4 Big Ten games he has played this season in inclement weather or cooler weather. Big plays, number 4. 3 minutes left. The Spartans have allowed 11 plays of 40 or more yards through 8 games this season, after giving up just 12 plays of 40 or more yards in 14 games last season. Ohio State has the most speed Michigan State has seen since Oregon. Buckeyes receiver Devin Smith has track speed and averages 27.2 yards per catch. And number 5, Joey Bosa. The Ohio State defensive end is drawing comparisons to NFL star J.J. Watt with his dominating performances week in and week out, as Bosa leads the Big Ten with 14.5 tackles for loss and 10 sacks. The Buckeyes will move Bosa around to get to Cook, who hasn't seen serious pressures since Oregon sacked him three times on September 6th in Eugene. Again, you can catch that Buckeyes Spartans game Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on your local ABC television affiliate. Before I sign off, I want to congratulate Detroit Tigers designated hitter Victor Martinez for winning one of the American League Silver Slugger Awards. Also, congratulations to Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim outfielder Mike Trout for winning his 3rd straight American League Silver Slugger Award. He was the first player in American League history to win Silver Slugger in his first 3 full seasons. Victor Martinez hit .335 with 32 homers and 103 RBIs in the 2014 Detroit Tigers regular season. That's going to do it for Taylor's Detroit Sports episode 88 on Spreaker and on iHeartRadio. That's where you'll find all my Spreaker podcasts of Taylor's Detroit Sports, back with episode 89 after the Red Wings and Pistons get done on Friday night. TTFN, ta-ta for now. Thanks for listening.